Let's start off with a few questions about your upcoming release in June for Shiver. A little bit different for this one. You're once again a creepy killer, but this time a few quirks and American accent that not all of your fans are too used to, and also a strange kind of insecurity and a power trip kind of angle. What was it like preparing for and playing Frank, this character?
I never played any character like that. You know, put the American accent aside. I'd never played a creepy, nerdy, well-educated, strange bastard like that before. So, and I'm not like that. I'm scary enough. I'm closer to the character than the Shiver character, than the rude character. I understand Outback Australians a lot better than Middle American nerds, put it that way. So it was a good challenge.
Yeah.
But Shiver is your first American film. What was it like to shoot in the US, in one of the coldest and wettest parts of the country?
I froze. It was freezing. It was so cold. And it kept telling me, "Hey, John, what do you think of Portland?" I said, "I hate it. I'm freezing." and they said, "It's great in the summer." And I said, "If one more person tells me how great this place is in the summer, I'm going to slap them." But it's a beautiful place, though. All jokes aside, it's an astoundingly pretty place and a lovely city, and I enjoyed the company there, and I loved making the movie there. It was terrific stuff. Yeah. I didn't understand what the derelicts were doing sleeping there when they could be a derelict in Florida. But, that was a bit weird. It was so cold. If you walked out and forgot your gloves and your beanie, you raced straight back in and grabbed them in 2 seconds into the cold, and you felt it. There's no doubt about that.
Gee. And do you think you'd like to return to something that's a bit nerdy, a bit insecure, which kind of brews a great concoction for a killer?
Well, I don't actually think about my next character or what I'd like to play, Conrad. I just because it never works out anyway. I just sit here and either I'm creating my own films in Australia at the moment, or someone offers me something and I read it and there's a terrific character to play, and that's just kind of how it works. I've never been one to say I'd love to play Hamlet.
Yeah.
I've never been like that. Yeah. I just wait for the next great script to come my way.
Great. So do you talking about attracting toward a great kind of character? Is it the more murderous and twisted villain kind of ones you like, or is that kind of what comes across the desk a lot more often?
Oh well, when you play someone like that, it's kind of insidious fun, that you get to get within the skin of a creep without being a creep. It's probably the upside of being an actor, you get away with it, and it's interesting to explore, that kind of psyche, and it's anathema to me. I'm a father of 6 and I've got 2 grandkids, and if anyone touched any of my children, that's the only thing that would make me would kill somebody. But there's nothing in me that wants to kill anybody, and that bloody dickhead in Indonesia, that president, under the cloak of a president, he killed 2 people. I don't think anyone's got the right to kill anybody in the real world, but I get a chance to sort of play with that world, when I'm an actor, to play with being a serial killer or a soldier or a fisherman or a queen or whatever the hell comes up. It's very interesting exercise as an actor, but from a personal point of view, I play characters I don't like very much quite often. But that's okay too.
Do you ever find yourself, thinking out loud of any homicidal tendencies or scenes once the kind of credits roll?
No, haven't cut anyone up yet.
Not just yet.
No, I haven't even gone close. 30 years ago, I decided that I wouldn't lose my temper anymore. And this very wise bloke I was talking to said, "It's your temper. Why would you want to lose it?" So I'm not like that at all. I'm a very peaceful I'm also, I regard myself as, fairly intelligent, and I know where the boundaries are. There's some idiot, I work with some idiot bloody method actors who just need their faces slapped. The way they think they can get away with their method acting, but I don't take it too far, and it's not that important. I mean, we're not brain surgeons. We learn lines and try not to bump into the furniture at the end of the day. It's not that grand. But to answer your question, I did walk down the street of Gawler in South Australia when I was in the middle of first Wolf Creek, and quite an attractive woman walked past me, and I winked at her, and Mick winked at her, not me.
Wow.
And that was scary, because I don't wink at people. Little things like that.
Yeah. Did she recognise you and run for the cops, or?
No, this was while I was making the film. It wasn't even out yet.
Fantastic.
I was well known for McLeod's daughters. She just probably went home and said that guy from McLeod's daughters is a dirty old man.
Oh, if only she knew. But, Hamlet aside, is there any other kind of role or character you would want to have a go at that's not down the murderous alley?
The only thing that I would love to have a go at, but I'm not seeking it, but if it came my way, I'd be happy to have a go at. I'd love to play a screaming queen, because, that'd be like that's anathema. That's like the other side of Mick Taylor, go from playing Mad Mick to this screaming, gay thing, trissing around with the makeup on and all that love.
Be a lot to play with.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talking about different roles and characters, have you ever thought about having a shot at something like Hollywood?
No, because have you ever been to LA? You been to LA?
It's disgusting.
It's a shithole. I love the people there, and I've had great times there. But physically, it's not a very pleasant place. The number one. Number two, I got 6 children and 2 grandkids, so I can't go and sit in LA waiting to become a movie star. And number 3, I'm already an established actor here, and I get lots of terrific work, and I'm making my own movies. I'm about to release Stalker through Pinnacle, the same mob that's got Shiver. Stalker is my next film. It's being released in September in the cinema, and we're busily putting the next one together. So as long as my ass points to the ground, I wouldn't be able to do that in LA either. No, I'm very happy being an Australian actor in Australia, and there's 30% of the, well, 50% probably of the biggest stars on the planet are Australians when you look at it. So I don't think it really matters. I don't think you have to go and live in LA anymore. If you're young and haven't got a family, and you're dying to become a movie star or something, sit there in West Hollywood till you like if you want. But I don't want to do that.
Makes sense.
I get offered a few things, so I did Django.
Yeah.
We know.
Django, but I don't mind being offered something and flying over there and doing it and coming home again, but I wouldn't live there.
Understandable. You've been in the movie industry for 40 years over now.
41 actually.
41. What advice would you give to someone who wanted to do what you do?
Become very efficient at making coffee and waiting tables, and a taxi license is always a pretty handy thing to have if you're an actor. An ability to find some other job that's going to sustain you through your starvation period of becoming an actor. But as far as being an actor, I think if you have a go for 3 or 4 years, you'll know whether you can act or not. You can't be taught how to act. You either can or you can't. And you've got to have enough common sense to know whether you're going to cut it or not. And if you can, hang in there, because if you really believe in yourself as an actor, one day you'll break the ice and hopefully get there. But it's an extremely difficult industry to be part of.
Sure. Great. And
Thank you.
We've heard that for the last couple of years you've been working on a comedy called Passing Winds. Can you tell us a little bit about this one?
Passing Winds is like a cross between Crocodile Dundee and Blazing Saddles. And we were going to make it, 2 years ago we were going to make it, but with illegal downloads being what they are, and which is affecting you guys too.
Oh, yes.
And I'm fighting like hell at the moment. I just made a commercial, and we're turning it around. But when a couple of years ago, when we were going to make Passing Winds, which is this sort of lump of a comedy western, very Australian comedy western, but it was going to cost us about $7 million. And I said, our next film's got to be low budget, 2 actors in a room, preferably at night, and something that's gritty enough to hold as a film. You know, like the film we made is kind of a cross between Misery and Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. So, and it takes place one night in a room in a house. It's plausible, and if it's 1.2 million, you get 6 million at the box office. You can get a profit out of it, and then you can't download box office. So the illegal download thing is what's stopping us making Passing Winds. But if we keep winning and the legislation comes out and people like Dallas Buyers Club stand up and have a go back, and we get some commercials out there trying to educate people that it's not right to steal millions of dollars off an industry, we'll make Passing Winds.
Great.
We did share your commercial on illegal download on our social media. We think it's great. And you also, you mentioned your movie Stockholm that you've been promoting recently. This is your first movie that you've directed, isn't it?
Yeah, it's my directorial debut, darling.
What was it like to do it for the first time, and do you think that you might do it again?
First up, I did it because I also produced it. My company, Auspex, produces it. And we were going through the budget, and I said, we're going to pay the director how much? I said, oh, what the hell with that, I'll direct it. So I did it for monetary reasons, really. But then I really enjoyed the process. I mean, I've been in so many goddamn films in the last 41 years. I've worked with some dreadful directors. I know what I had to do. You know, it wasn't like, oh, wow, what do I do next? I kind of knew what's expected from a director through my experience. And it was a bit difficult because I spent 90% of the film tied to a chair in the kitchen. So it was pretty hard to get to and from the monitor, and it's a very wordy piece, so it was probably a difficult one for my directorial debut, because I was immobile and I was involved in so much of the acting. But it was very rewarding, and I really enjoyed it, and I think we did a really good job.
And of course, we have to ask you about the Wolf Creek.
Sure.
Ask me
anything you like.
A few months ago, we have learned that Wolf Creek is set to continue on small screen as a 6-part series. So at this stage, can you spill some beans? Maybe tell us when we will be able to see Mick Tyler again?
Well, with the TV show, they're going to make it in the latter part of this year. As far as I know, they haven't actually locked it off yet, but it's actually very close. In the next couple of weeks, I suspect.
Okay.
In all probability, it'll be shot this year, and if that happens, they'd like to release it in early 2016 on Channel 9 and Stan, and it's a six-part TV series.
We can't wait.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and then we're fairly confident we'll make one more Wolf Creek as well, Wolf Creek 3.
You are joking.
Sometime next year.
Right.
Wow.
How does it feel returning to the Mr. Taylor role? Has it kind of already been absorbed into you?
Oh, man,
is it foreign still?
First up, when I first did it, it was pretty scary because I had the funny voice and the funny laugh, and I thought, well, this is either going to be really good or a really bad cartoon character, and thankfully it worked. So now I've been doing it for so long and so often, you know, it's like riding a bike. You just jump on and off you go. step out of him pretty quick too, which is nice.
That's good.
Don't wink at too many people.
You also mentioned your own company, Auspex Entertainment.
Yeah.
Definitely, it's not an easy business, as you mentioned. So, what was the main reason for you to start your own company?
Well, funnily enough, it was because of Wolf Creek that I thought, wow, I should get off my ass and make my own movies, because here I was working with Greg McLean and Will Gibson, the cinematographer, and Matty Hearn, the producer, all first time director, first time they shot a movie, first time they produced a movie, and they'd been involved in showbiz and short films and commercials and corporates, and they knew their way around a film set and what a camera does and every other thing. And Greg had been writing for many years, but still it was their first feature, right? And they were thankfully insanely talented, and Greg's the best director I've worked with since Peter Weir in 74. So I looked at them and what they'd achieved, and I thought, well, I'm a hell of a lot more experienced than them. I should be putting back in too. But there was just time for me to put my head down on my ass up and make my own films. So I thought I made one called Savage's Crossing before I formed Auspex, and that was kind of my first outing, and made a few mistakes with that, and I learned a lot by it, and now I think we know what we're doing, and Stalker is the result of that.
You mentioned Stalker, Savages. What other types of movies can we expect from Auspex?
Well, our next film is called Who Cares, Sal, and it's a story about a Down syndrome guy who's losing his mother to lung cancer in the hospital, and he hasn't got anyone to turn to. So he escapes into the city and finds his estranged father, he was a result of a one-night stand, and he goes in search of his father to look after him when his mother dies, because he got no one else to look after him.
Oh.
And just basically the story. So it's a feel-good family film. I got the idea with the football. I'm a Rabbitoh supporter, and there was a Down syndrome guy in front of me. He's about 30, I suppose, and his mum was about 70, I reckon. And he just had such a good time, and we enjoyed his company because they're much more emotionally mature than we'll ever be, and they're very, out there in their expression. So I thought to myself, what's going to happen to this guy if his mother dies and he had nobody? And so that was the idea for the film, and that's the next film we're going to do.
We would love to see that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I got a distribution deal on the pitch. Everyone loves the idea. And I got Jarratt Dwyer's playing the lead, and he won Best Actor back in 2009 at Trop Fest. So we have an actor who's Down syndrome guy, and we're very excited about it. And that won't happen until the end of the year because I'm booked. So hopefully we'll have the money together, and we'll be shooting that towards the end of the year or very early next year.
talking about actors, who's your favorite actor?
I get asked that question all the time, and I don't have a favourite actor. I've got many favourite actors, and I can rattle a few off if you want, but I really like Jeff Rush. I think he's amazing.
Yep.
He is.
Kate Blanchett's amazing. And not just Australian, they're the best internationally as far as I'm concerned. I love Robert Downey Jr. I think he's amazing. Meryl Streep, Marlon Brando. I could sit here all day.
Big
Mel
names.
Gibson. I think Mel Gibson's a fantastic actor. Highly underrated. He's a pretty director too. There's very a lot of actors I admire.
And now something completely different, far away from movies. What do you do in your free time?
Well,
Do you have free time?
I don't have a lot of free time. I've got so many projects happening, and I'm writing my autobiography at the moment, which is mind-boggling. So I spend a lot of time in front of my laptop working on various projects all at once, and in conference with my friends and so forth on that. But my free time, any free time I've got, I try to spend with my two youngest sons, 13 and 11. Go and pick them up and have them for the weekend. If I've got spare time, I try to spend it with my kids.
That's the best way.
Lovely. Nearly out of time, John, but one last question, maybe more of a request. Would we be able to get your voice telling people to watch Shiver or another project upcoming of your choice, followed by maybe a threat?
Yeah, well, I'll do a little promo for Shiver if you want. How long do you want it?
Oh, 5 seconds? I don't know. It's up to you. However long it takes to coerce the fearing public into getting it.
G'day, this is John Jarratt. Go and see Shiver in June. It'll scare you to death. Bye.
Fantastic. That's amazing. Thank you so much. Beautiful.
That'll do, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
I wonder what the hell was that?
Thank you so much. That was amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, and thanks for your support.
Done.
And we'll be doing this all again in, I think, November.
Yeah.
It's the home end release time for Stalker, and it's with Pinnacle too. So
Yes, cannot wait.
probably talk to you again soon.
It would be great if you could.
Anytime.
Lovely.
Scratch mine, I'll scratch yours.
It's two-way street, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. And have a great weekend.
Yes,
Yeah,
all
you
the best.
too.
Thank
Bye
you.
now.
Thanks, John. Bye.
Bye.